को सीधे ले चलेंगे दिल्ली लोकसभा के भीतर, जहां लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन अपनी बात रख रहे हैं।
I sat there with Kharge ji and I listened to it. And I must say, I struggled through the President's address to maintain my attention on what was being said. Because I had heard pretty much the same President's address the last time and the time before that and the time before that. And it was the same laundry list of things that the government has done. We have done this, we have done this, we have done this, 50 or 100 things that the government has done. And so while I was sitting there, I was thinking, okay, I am being critical about what is being said. And I am saying that this is not the type of President's address that should be delivered. Well, the question came to my mind, what type of address would an India Gathbandhan government deliver? How would that address be different than the address we heard? Because it's no point me saying that it is a laundry list and then not providing an alternative idea. And so today I would like to lay out some dimensions of what an alternative address would look like, what the India Gathbandhan would probably focus on, and where we would lay emphasis. The future of this country is going to be decided by the young men and women of this country, the youth of this country. So I think anything we say has to be addressed to them, has to be spoken to them. The first thing in front of us, and this is something I'm sure the Prime Minister would accept, and pretty much everybody in this room will accept, is that even though we have grown fast, we are growing slightly slower now, but we are still growing. A universal problem that we have faced is that we have not been able to tackle the problem of unemployment. Neither the UPA government nor today's NDA government has given a clear-cut answer to the youth of India about employment. I don't think anybody in this room will disagree with me. I'll give a little statistic for the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, something I would agree with directionally. The Prime Minister proposed the Make in India program. I think a good idea. We saw the statues, we saw the functions, we saw the so-called investment, and the result is right in front of me. Manufacturing fell from 15.3% of GDP in 2014 to 12.6% of GDP today. That is the lowest share of manufacturing in 60 years. I'm not even blaming the Prime Minister, because I think it would not be fair to say he didn't try. I could say that the Prime Minister tried, and I think conceptually Make in India was a good.
आप फॉरेन पॉलिसी पे, बॉर्डर इशू पर आप अपना कैसे मजाक बात कर सकते हैं? अपना मन मरण कहानी आप बना के बोल रहे हैं। ये तो बहुत सीरियस मामला है।
विदेशी प्रतिपक्ष के नेता जो आप विषय बोल रहे हैं, उसके तथ्यों को
Let me speak.
सदन के पटल पे रखना। आप
पानी।
अनुरोध है लीडर ऑफ पोजिशन बोले, हम लोग शांति से सुनेंगे, ये आपका अधिकार है बोलने का, मगर आप मन चाहे ऐसा सीरियस इशू पे कैसे बोल सकते हैं? सीरियस मामला है।
आप सदन में बोल रहे हैं,
से बोलते हो, फॉरेन मिनिस्टर का मुश्किल देते हो, सीमा का ऑफिशियल वर्जन से अलग बात करते हो, ऐसा मत बोलिए, ये देश के लिए ठीक नहीं है। आपको सीरियस होना पड़ेगा लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन। ये गंभीर मामले को आप ऐसा
The Prime Minister has denied that Chinese forces are inside our territory, but for some reason our army keeps talking to the Chinese about their entry into our territory, and our Chief of Army Staff has said that the Chinese are inside our territory. This is a fact. This is not invention, this is a fact. Now, but the reason China is inside our territory is important. Because people think that wars are fought between armies and their weapons. But the fact of the matter is that wars are fought by industrial systems. The fact of the matter is that China has an industrial system that is far stronger, far bigger than our industrial system. And that is why they have the guts to come inside this country. The reason China is sitting inside this country is because Make in India has failed. The reason China is sitting inside this country is because India is refusing to produce. And I am worried that India is going to give up this revolution to the Chinese once again. The reason I made this reference is because everything is connected. If and when we fight a war with China, we will be fighting with Chinese electric motors, Chinese batteries, Chinese optics, and we will be buying Chinese motors, Chinese optics, Chinese batteries. It is a non-sustainable proposition. That is why for our security, for the future of our children, for the future of our country, we have to build a production system, and we cannot allow this revolution to go by. Now, the next step, we have a strategic partner called the United States. The partnership should focus on how India and the United States can work together to take advantage of this revolution. That is what the conversation should be on. Please understand that India is as important as the United States for the simple reason that they cannot build an industrial system without us. They cannot build a production system without us. No matter what they say, the Americans simply cannot do what India can do because their cost structure is much, much, much more expensive than ours. We can build things that the Americans would never imagine. India can do that. So that would be the first part of a president's address. We would talk to the youngsters in India and say to them, we want you to be partners in this revolution. We want to change the Indian banking system so you can have access to it. And we believe in you, we trust in you, and we believe you can take on the Chinese. That's the first part. The second part would be about participation. We have done a caste census in Telangana, and what we have found is shocking. Almost 90% of Telangana is either Dalit, Adivasi, backward, or minority. Almost 90%. हलवा बांटने वाली फोटो, मैं हैरान हो गया कि इस बार फोटो ही हटा दी. हलवा खिलाया मगर दिखाया नहीं किसको खिला रहे. तो at the center of any new development paradigm for this country, which runs parallel with the production paradigm I spoke of, which works together with the production. 50% of the population, and you have absolutely no power. I know that you're sitting there and you cannot even open your mouth. That is the truth of the country.
प्रधानमंत्री का चेहरा आपको दिखाई नहीं देता है?
जाति जनगणना,
प्रधानमंत्री का चेहरा आपको दिखाई नहीं देता क्या?
आर्किटेक्चर,
अंधे हो गए हैं क्या?
participation, revolution
देश का सबसे बड़ा नेता चेहरा नहीं दिखता। ये अंधेरा हो गया है।
पार्लियामेंट में है।
ये कुछ दिखता नहीं है।
सोनिया गांधी, प्रियंका,
ये इधर ऑपोजिशन को कुछ दिखाई नहीं देता है। ओबीसी बात करते हैं।
the idea is, Speaker
दिखाई
sir,
नहीं
the
देता
idea,
क्या?
Speaker sir, so the idea is, on one side, allow India and the Indian youngsters to participate in the coming mobility revolution. Allow them to participate in building robots, in building drones, in building electronic items, in building EVs. And on the other side, running parallel
मैंने उनको ही मना
the
किया।
country, Speaker sir.
ऐसा नहीं है,
So-
आप भी बहुत डिस्टर्बेंस करते हैं।
Okay, Speaker.